Hi everyone, nice to see you today. Thank you for doing the music homework that I've assigned and coming to Mr. Hofman on YouTube. Today we're going to go through, what's on the board here, some buzzing and mouthpiece drills. We'll play a scale, and then I'll show you how to get to my website so you can play jingle bells along with a recording that I've made. So first off, you've all brought your instruments home, obviously. Hopefully you brought your reed home. If you're ever unsure if the mouthpiece wasn't washed, they all have been washed. You've done it or another student has done it, but if you're ever not sure, you can always use warm water or hot water and dish soap to wash your mouthpiece. We don't want anyone catching a cold when they share an instrument. Okay, so we'll start with some buzzing and mouthpiece drills. Actually, let me take a step back. Before you start playing, it's nice if you can find a place in your home where you don't bother people when you're playing. Maybe if you're home alone or there's just a few people in the house, that's a good time. And maybe you can play in your room or in a basement or someplace where you're not going to disturb anyone, because these instruments, as you know, are quite loud. So let's do some buzzing mouthpiece exercises. First thing that I'll have brass players do is do some sirens. We do these in class. Great warm-up. This is the time for you to check your embouchure. Make sure you're not puffing your lips out or your cheeks out. You don't have control that way. It's more like if you were to suck on a lemon, you'd find it quite sour. Or some people like the analogy of spitting a piece of rice. If you can picture you had a piece of rice in your mouth and you want it to get out, you go. Good. That's sort of how your lips should be when you buzz or when you play a reed instrument. More sirens. After you do that for maybe 30 seconds to a minute, get your lips warmed up. Then we'll just do some long tones, and I'm going to play a reed instrument for this. Remember, and I still see some people who don't do this in class, our bottom lip, at least the red part of your lip, is over your bottom teeth. Your reed needs to be moist. I wet mine before I started. And we're going to make some honking sounds for about 4 beats. And then we'll rest for 4, and then we'll play for 4. It'll sound like this. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. If you're on a brass instrument, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and so on. That's something you can do for about 30 seconds to a minute. And we're looking for a straight tone that doesn't waver. Sometimes people do this. Or this. But we want. That's our goal. If you can't do it, know that that's your goal. So once we do mouthpiece warm-ups, then it's great to play a scale. We should have these memorized or close to memorized. We did the 8-note scale for the first time this past week, and remember our 7th and 8th tone are 1 octave lower, so you're going to feel a drop, and it'll sound like this. I'm going to loosen my lips when we reach the 7th pitch. You might have heard that on the 6th scale degree, I kind of lost my buzz a little bit. That's because as we get higher, it gets a little bit more difficult to hold. I haven't been practicing playing a lot, so my embouchure isn't as strong as some of yours, believe it or not. Some people can play all the way up the scale, and if you want to try this, you can, but don't strain yourself, all right? Sounds like this. You even the second time through, I can feel an increase in my strength because I've spent a bit of time warming up. That's what warm-ups are for. Okay, so if you could play up and down the scale a little bit, that'd be fantastic. Scales are a great time to think about initiating the tongue, and each note should start with right? It's great to do them during scales because, well, we repeat the same slide or piston or key positions every day in class, so you don't have to think a lot about what you're playing on the instrument, and you could put a little bit more attention on initiating the notes with the tongue. So spend a couple of minutes doing that, please. Next and finally is I would like you to use your phone or another computer to go to Innerkip Central School. You can Google that. Once you're there, the left-hand side of the page, there's a link that you can click. It says Teacher Websites. This is the same link that we use for people who are in the musical, who are listening to musical recordings for the musical. Next, Mr. Hofman's site. Next is Music at Innerkip, and this is a small link. It's on the upper left side of the page, a very small font. You should be able to see it, Music at Innerkip. Once you click on that link, there's another link, finally, called Band Recordings. And I put 2 recordings of Jingle Bells on that page. One is slow and one is medium. Some people need to play Jingle Bells slowly. They need the time. It's too hard to read the notes. So you can use that one. Other people find the slow one kind of tedious, and it's hard to keep the energy of rehearsing up. So I put one that's a medium pace. In the interest of keeping this video short, I'm going to do the one that's a medium pace, and I'll show you how I want you to rehearse. So I'll just open up all those things that I mentioned. I did it beforehand. And then there's a metronome clicking and a piano part. Sometimes it's hard to rehearse wind instruments by yourself, because there's like, when we play in the band class, you can hear everyone playing around you. You kind of have more to hold on to. So playing with the recording when you're playing at home really helps you feel like you're playing with somebody else, you're part of a group, and it also helps you stay in tune. If you're listening to what's going on the recording and making sure your embouchure stays firm, you can try to match it. I have my copy of Jingle Bells here, and I hope all you do as well. If you don't have a copy of Jingle Bells, you can, I got this online, it's free. You can Google free band music, and the first link is a site called Ontario Band Music, OTSSF or something like that. I should have written it down, I didn't think to. But you can search up free band music, and the website that has the music on it has this kooky looking guy on it, and it has a whole list of band music. If you hunt around the site, you should be able to find Jingle Bells, and then you just click on your part and it should come up online. But anyways, hopefully you've brought it home, and I'll show you how I'd like you to practice. And so on. Having done that once, I realized that it's a little fast for me. I don't play trombone as much as I conduct, and if I were doing this to perform like you are, I would say to myself, you know, there's too much going on there. I'm going to do the slow one a few times, and you're going to find that the more you play, the stronger your embouchure you're going to have, and the better tone quality you're going to get out of your instrument. If you play Saturday and Sunday this weekend, when you come to class on Monday, I bet you will find a marked improvement on your playing ability. Anyways, thank you very much. I've reached almost the 10-minute mark. Thank you for persevering through. Please complete these steps that I've asked you to. Do it on 2 days if you can, and it only should take 15 to 20 minutes, and you'll be a better player.